Views expressed by Casters Guild members are only the opinions of that member, and that could change from day to day. Guild members may use mature language, but that in no way means they are mature. Listener discretion is advised.
Fallout Season 2 has confirmed their setting. A Spider-Man show has never looked more like a comic book, and the Switch 2 leaks has some fans questioning their pre-orders. That's the spell we're casting tonight on Casters Guild. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Casters Guild. I'm your Guildmaster Rick Perry, and I'm what you get if you place a Nuka-Cola, any Kirby game, and a bacon cheeseburger in a summoning circle.
And I'm your Guildmaster Baron Kane, and I hate math.
You know, I am so tired of talking about tariffs every episode that I'm just not going to do it this episode. There were more things I came across when researching, topics to talk about for this episode, and I just decided, you know what? People know that there are tariffs. People know that they're bad.
They exist.
We don't need to do another episode that's like half tariffs.
That's fair.
Which is, another reason to hate math, really.
Yeah.
But that being said, I decided I'll talk about a few things I'm excited about. And did you see the new teaser for Fallout Season 2?
I did not see the teaser itself, but I've been kind of keeping up on it as much as humanly possible.
So basically we got to see the ghoul before he was the ghoul, in a whole bunch of scenes where he's more or less recording a whole bunch of ads for Vault-Tec and Nuka-Cola and all these things leading up to the apocalypse before he's doing kids parties, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it basically just confirms what we all knew, that Season 2 is going to New Vegas.
Right.
Which has me pumped, personally. It's not like this is new information for me, but it is nice for it to be 100% confirmed. It was kind of confirmed when we saw the skyline at the end of Season 1, but still.
Yeah, one could make a really strong assumption that it was going to happen.
But another thing that has come out of this is Aaron Moten, the actor for Maximus, was at a Comic-Con panel and said that, I'll just read the quote. When I signed on to do the series, we would have a starting point, and they gave me the end point, and the end point hasn't changed. But it is a Season 5 or 6 type of end point. We've always known that we were going to take our time with the development of the characters.
Wow.
So Season 2 is in the can. It just hasn't been released yet. And they've already been renewed for Season 3.
Right.
And they have story for up to Season 5 or 6.
Which is crazy. Especially with the way, especially with the way shows have been getting canceled. But from what I've been seeing, Amazon isn't really canceling stuff very quickly.
No, not at all.
Not like, Netflix.
No, Netflix tends to get really cancel happy really quickly. But Amazon knows when they have a good show on their hand, and they're quick to throw money at it and let it continue.
Sure.
Which, if it's Fallout, I say go for it. The first season was fantastic, and I'm ready to see more of that show. Yeah,
it was quite solid. I think that obviously, there's a lot of places that a franchise like Fallout could go. Even just game-wise, there's a lot of places that we could explore and stuff like that. So it's kind of exciting that, at least someone is, pulling out the stops to give us some Fallout content.
Yes. What is it? 6 mainline games at this point? Just a lot of different content you can pull from. And as long as people are watching, I think they're going to just keep throwing money at it.
Yeah, probably. I would like to think that they'll stop before it gets too worn out, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we all hope that they don't reach that jump the shark moment and then, keep going. But it sounds like they have an ending in mind. And as long as Amazon doesn't go, no, people are still tuning in, you have to go past that ending, then I think we'll be good. And even if they do want to keep going, let this story end.
Sure.
And then start a new Fallout story somewhere else, you know?
I get it. I mean, I would say that if I was just an actor who was just doing a job, yeah, keep me on as long as possible. But, movie making is supposed to be an art, and, you don't want it to get worn out. So, and we've seen some shows get worn the hell out.
Oh, yeah. There have been plenty of shows and movie series that have gone way past the point that they should have.
Yep.
Speaking of which, the trailer for Nobody 2 has come out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I never saw Nobody 1.
I saw Nobody, and I thought it was a fantastic movie. A really great beginning, middle, and end self-contained story about a guy, very similar to like a John Wick-esque story, where it's about a guy who used to be a really bad guy, and he decided to leave that life and picked up a new pacifist way of life, just became literally a nobody, the kind of guy who is a complete doormat and people walk all over all the time, until eventually he got pushed far enough that that old guy he used to be came back. Mm-hmm. Now, I saw the trailer for Nobody 2, and I feel like it kind of betrays that original story a little bit.
Oh, no.
I feel like it's like they decide that they're going to go on vacation in the story, him and his family that he put together with his new mundane life. And he just can't stop being that guy long enough to even take a vacation with his family. It is just a trailer, so who knows the way that the marketing team decided to market the movie, had decided to advertise the movie. And it could still be good, but it screams Rambo to me.
Okay.
So when the original Rambo came out, it was more or less about a guy dealing with PTSD. And then Rambo 2 came out, and it was like, no, he's a badass who just like constantly dives into war as much as he can. And that's where the series went from then on, about Rambo being the badass instead about being Rambo, the guy dealing with PTSD. And so that's kind of, and look, don't get me wrong, everybody loves Rambo, or like that's what I hear anyway, from 2 on, because there's some of the best action movies or whatever. But you can't deny that it's a betrayal of the original story. And I feel like that's where Nobody 2 is going. And not to say we won't get some really fun action movies out of it, and not to say that they won't be good movies. I am just concerned, because I really did enjoy that first movie.
Yeah, I wish I had a base of just knowledge on the franchise itself. However, I do completely get taking the character out of what you have expectations for. Especially when those expectations are built on a foundation that the writers themselves gave you.
Right.
So, yeah. But hey, Bob Odenkirk is working, so yay.
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, I'll watch him in just about anything. And like I said, I mean, like I'll reserve judgment, because it might be a fantastic movie at the end of the day. When you're trying to advertise a movie, and I don't know how well the first one did. Obviously, it had to do well enough for them to make a sequel. But I think they're trying to capture not only people who saw the first movie, but like new people as well. And when you're trying to get people to come see a movie, you want to show them all the action. You want to show them, hey, this is going to be full of fun action, and come watch this guy beat the crap out of people and get the crap beat out of him. So it just could be how it's being advertised, for all I know.
Sure.
But it kind of, what really just concerned me is, like, as I'm looking at all the articles written about this trailer and all the media attention that the trailer is getting, everybody's like, oh, look at this fun, new, action-packed trailer. And it's like, yeah, that's right. It's a fun, action-packed trailer, but I don't know if that's what the original movie was going for. And I'm not sure if that's what the sequel should be going for. I just don't know.
I get it.
But next up, we also did get a nice little trailer for Spider Noir,
which I did see.
Another series coming out of Amazon.
So if anybody's expecting Spider-Man set in the Sin City universe, yeah, you're close.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what you're going to get, or pretty similar.
They're even reusing the whole flaring lens thing that they used for Elijah Wood's character in Sin City.
Yes, that is true. That is true. I didn't connect those dots until you said it, but yes.
Yep. But like I could say that and have it be like derogatory, but I mean it works.
Yeah, honestly, it's definitely not in a derogatory way. Like it's kind of like an homage kind of way, but it's because they're trying to capture the same feeling that those movies were trying to capture.
Right.
Sin City feels like it's a comic book.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, in the original Sin City, they use the comic book as their storyboards. Like
I believe so, yes.
If you look at the comic book and you watch the movie, you can be like, yep, there's that panel, there's that panel, there's that panel. They like recreated it. And for someone else to take that style and use it, it's just kind of a good thing, as long as it's not being like bastardized, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to draw inspiration, that's all well and good, but yeah, if they try to lean hard into the Sin City and just fashion everything off of it, then yeah, I'll have a problem.
The first thing I noticed when watching the trailer was them reusing music stings from Spider-Verse, which I think is appropriate, since that's where Nicolas Cage's version of Spider-Man Noir really got popular.
Well, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the same character.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got some reference to the Spider-Verse in it.
Yeah, I expect to see, maybe in like an inner monologue or something like that, he references his time in another universe and possibly say something about the kid, Miles. Mm-hmm. And then maybe even toward the end of the series, we get a nice little teaser of him going back through the Spider-Verse, to where he would be showing up at the end of the second movie.
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
But I think we've said it before when this series first got announced. I mean, this is going to be a chance for Nick Cage to be Nick Cage, which people argue about whether or not Nicolas Cage is a good actor.
Sure.
I think he can give a fantastic performance with the correct role. I think a lot of the bad performances you get from Nick Cage is when Nick Cage, as the square peg, tries to get forced into the round hole.
Sure. Like if they were to say take Nick Cage, I don't know, just kind of thinking of something. Like if they took Nick Cage and made him play like John Madden in a movie.
Yes, that is an excellent example of trying to fit Nicolas Cage's square peg into a round hole. I do not see that going well.
Thank you. I just pulled that off the top of my head.
Oh, man. Well, shame is that's what they're going to be doing with him.
No way, I say incredulously. That's crazy. I saw that as a headline, and the first thing I thought is, who is this movie for? I thought it was a joke. I'll be quite honest. I thought it was a fucking joke. I'm obviously still blown away by it.
I don't see it being for football fans, and I don't see it being for like John Madden football video game fans. Like I have no idea who this movie is for. That like Nick Cage will be playing John Madden.
It's a mystery.
I feel like the movie must be for Nick Cage. Like he was just like, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to be John Madden.
Maybe he's a big John Madden fan. I never even thought about that. That's crazy. Yeah. Let's hope.
And if that's the case, he might do a fantastic job.
Sure. Yeah. Bring that passion into that. Man, I don't know.
And why would you? Who would know? Oh, man. But speaking of roles people were made for, we also got another trailer for Peacemaker Season 2.
That we did.
I feel like John Cena is made for the role of Peacemaker.
Agreed. And I'm pretty sure James Gunn is directing this, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I think that this character that they're making They chose the right guy to play it. They chose the right guy to create it. Essentially, I'm excited to see the second.
James Gunn, just something about him and making goofy DC properties. It's just like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
kind of perfect.
I wasn't sure we were gonna get another Peacemaker season.
Oh, really?
Well, only because, how do I say this without it sounding insulting? Because I don't mean it as insulting.
Sure. Okay. I'll try not to cry.
I felt like the character of Peacemaker and John Cena as Peacemaker, the joke of it is kind of one note.
Okay.
It's a good note. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a dish placed in front of you does not have to be complex to be delicious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
But I also feel as though, you know, if you continue to hammer on that one note over and over again, you can get tired of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I could see that.
And that seems to be sometimes things that studios pick up on. And so, like, they go, no, we're not doing that again, you know? Other times, that's exactly what a lot of sequel series are. Like, you take a look at, like, the Austin Power franchise of movies, and it's practically just the same joke over and over again for, what was it, 3-4 movies? Yeah,
that sounds right.
Now, don't get me wrong, when those movies came out, I was just immature enough to laugh at I wouldn't say all of them, most of them. Especially the first one, but, like, you know, when you do hit that one note over and over again. So I just wasn't sure if we were going to get it again. Now, that being said, like I said, I wasn't trying to make it sound like insulting. It was good for the one season, and I think it'll continue to be good for the second season, even if that's exactly what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I just wouldn't expect, you know, a lot of funding to go behind an idea like that. But they could surprise me and throw in some, like, new comedy. If you look at the trailer, I mean, it does look to seem like they're going to be focusing on some of the other characters outside of just Peacemaker. So maybe we will see some new stuff. I don't know. But even if we don't, I still think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be, like, in my opinion, it's going to be unrealistic to think that this is going to be a lot of the same stuff. I think that they are going to be exploring a lot of stuff, and obviously exploring a lot of this new DC universe that James Gunn is trying to build.
That's another point where I think my comic book knowledge makes me fall short of seeing everything that the trailer had to offer, and then, like, being able to anticipate what season 2 has to offer. Like, in the trailer, I obviously recognized the Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the other two people in that room were.
I don't know who the middle guy was, but the one on the left was Hawk Girl.
Okay, good stuff. I don't know who the guy sitting on the floor with, like, all the spirits coming up out of him was.
Okay, so here's the deal. A lot of people are saying it's going to be Apache Chief.
Okay.
I do not think so.
Okay.
I saw someone, and I'm not 100% sure who it was, talking about the other possibility of who this was. The idea is this is Snowflame.
Okay.
He's played by Michael Rooker. You can tell it's Michael Rooker as he's sitting there.
Right.
So Snowflame.
Is there anything I would need to know about Snowflame in order to maybe anticipate what's coming up in season 2?
Maybe. So he's a bad guy.
Okay.
But it's hard to tell what they might make him in this. Oh boy. So his powers are, and I'm reading straight from the DC Wiki.
Sure.
Superhuman strength, superhuman speed, immunity to pain, pyrokinesis, cocaine touch, and that's about it. Yep.
So he's got, like, the full superpowered suite, like the basic suite that you get. You know. Super speed, super strength, hard to hurt.
Yep. Cocaine touch. Yep.
And then the pyrokinesis on top of it.
Right. Exactly. Yes. He has some downsides. He does have a weakness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't we all? Don't we?
He's addicted to cocaine.
Do you think that's something they'll keep about his character?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Because how couldn't they in James Gunn's Peacemaker?
Exactly.
You know, something that you might find as addictive as cocaine, but nowhere close to as bad for you, is our Patreon and our merch store.
Yeah.
I don't have the clever ad reads that we did for our previous affiliates, but I do think you should go.
It's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
I do think you should go check them out and support the podcast. Next up, we have Blizzard's Overwatch team has unionized.
Oh, what?
Which go for them. I am nothing if I am not pro-union.
Yeah.
Taking this information off of Kotaku, by the way, and the union includes nearly 200 developers across art, testing, engineering, and design.
Well, good. It's weird that it's just the Overwatch team, but I mean, I guess, you know, in big companies like that, you have, I mean, essentially, Overwatch would be its own company within a company.
Sure. Also, I feel like it's only a matter of time that maybe other Blizzard
well, actually,
employees, yeah.
The Overwatch 2 team is the second team at Blizzard to unionize.
Well, there you go.
The World of Warcraft team unionized last July.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I can see here that it says that they joined the Communications Workers of America union.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there are a bunch of video game workers at Microsoft-owned studios that form up the union. So I think it's only going to be a matter of time before... Well, first of all, they're definitely not the first team to join. There's a lot of other teams that are already on this union, and it's only a matter of time before even more teams do join.
True.
And there were almost 2,000 layoffs that went through Microsoft last year, including at Blizzard. Several members of the Overwatch team were cut, games got canceled, and this was the biggest issue. Some might even say the inciting incident for them doing this.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, when it comes to working for a company like Blizzard, working on a team like the Overwatch 2 team, I feel like compensation is probably not the biggest reason that you continue to work on a game like Overwatch 2 or work for a company like Blizzard. You do it for the love of the game and for a love of the people that you work with. And if those are the reasons that you are doing your job, joining in a union only makes sense. Because a union is what helps you protect those people and protect the game that you are trying to make.
Yeah. But it just kind of, I don't know, it still kind of weirds me out, though, because it's like, it's for the Overwatch 2 team. Mm-hmm. This game is not going to go on. Like, it's not a forever thing. Not anything is, obviously, but... Mm-hmm. I mean, what happens when they're done supporting Overwatch 2? I mean...
I think Overwatch still has a pretty long life ahead of it. For better or for worse, Overwatch 2 is starting to head the Fortnite route, where they're doing a lot of collaborations and bringing in a lot of other franchises to make skins for the characters and kind of constantly doing updates to it. A lot of people thought Overwatch would immediately die as soon as Marvel Rivals came out. Mm-hmm. And while Overwatch did see a dip in its player base, it's definitely not dead. And I think Blizzard will continue to milk Overwatch for as long as it's got players. Very similar to a lot of people say WoW is dead, but they still have a World of Warcraft team. And it still has players, and they're still making money from it. So, I mean, the Overwatch 2 team is definitely not what it once was, I assume, but that's also probably another reason why they think they need to be protected.
That's fair. I don't know. There is definitely some finer points that maybe I'm missing, and I
mean, they just announced a Street Fighter 6 collaboration. That transforms all of the existing characters into Street Fighter characters through skins. So, I mean, they're still making new stuff.
Okay.
But I do see the other side of the coin. Like, I do see where you're coming from as far as how much longer is it going to be a thing where you need protection. And maybe part of the protection they'll get from the union is just because Overwatch dies and just because they don't continue doing updates to Overwatch, that doesn't mean they can't get moved to a different project. And maybe that's something the union can help them do, is continue to have a job even when that project maybe, say, doesn't continue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to keep an eye on this Overwatch 2 team and it unionizing and see what kind of good it does for them. Talking a little bit earlier about how Netflix likes to cancel stuff.
Yes.
They are removing Black Mirror Bandersnatch from Netflix. Actually, by the time this episode comes out, it'll already be removed, I believe.
Right. I wonder if this is like some kind of stunt. Because it's like they're very like vocal on saying it's going to be gone. Permanently deleted, gone, no archive, no DVD, nothing. They're not going to recover it. Yeah, I don't know. Seems weird.
It does, because not only... I mean, the newest season of Black Mirror came out not that long ago, and one of the episodes directly references Bandersnatch, even shares characters between them. And it does have me feeling like some kind of way, if like they truly are just going to remove it forever, and then like no one will ever be able to experience it ever again. It's not like you could just put it on your average DVD, because it is an interactive experience. Like it's branching story paths. Well, no, I think you could still do that on a DVD. I shouldn't say that. I think you could still do it on a DVD, but still, I don't know why. I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is like, because it is an interactive experience, maybe it's taking up a certain amount of server space at Netflix, and if people aren't engaging with it anymore because it is older, and it's like, well, nobody's watching this, nobody's playing through it anymore, let's just get rid of it. That's the only justification I can think of.
Yeah, I mean that's probably pretty solid. I just conspiracy theory brain was just kind of running through with it.
No, yeah, absolutely. I feel like there probably has to be something else going on here, and I'm not going to say Bandersnatch was like high art or like like one of the 100 movies you have to see before you die. Mm-hmm. But as a Black Mirror fan, I thought Bandersnatch was an excellent little experience that, like, if you took the time to navigate some of the different endings, was definitely worth doing. And it almost felt like the kind of project that walked so something else could run. Like, it wasn't high art, but it felt like a stepping stone. Like, in the future, we could get something else that could play with that format that would be, high art or something that like you have to see before you die, Right. I will say, after Bandersnatch, Netflix followed it up with a lot of crap interactive content.
Hey, that's very typical for, big corporations like that. Oh, this worked. Let's bury it.
Yeah.
In just stuff.
Because after I enjoyed Bandersnatch, I did seek out some of the other content that they were making on Netflix that was interactive content, and that was a waste of time. Like, I should have not done that. And I hope it's not that like they came out with Bandersnatch. I hope it's not that they came out with Bandersnatch, saw that worked, then tried the other stuff, and then that didn't work, and so they just went, well, we're just going to bury this concept forever.
Right. Well, this obviously isn't working, so let's take off this other thing that does the same thing. So are you what? Huh?
The only thing I can really say about it is, if you're listening to this, I hope you got to experience it before it got taken down. If you like, I want to say horror, but like, I don't know if it qualifies as horror or
a psychological thriller maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Like, if you liked Black Mirror, if you like things that are like Black Mirror, if you like anthology horror or psychological thriller type stuff, I hope you got a chance to experience Bandersnatch. If you didn't, I hope there's some weirdo out there on the internet who did download it all and could recreate it, in a pirates type of way. And then I hope you get to experience it that way.
If only we knew somebody like that. Jeez.
Yeah, look, I don't doubt that people we know could do that. I just don't know if they can. I don't know what kind of work would go into recreating.
Yeah, that'd be kind of hard, though, wouldn't it?
The interactive experience,
Yeah, only.
If not, you could always just go do one of the Markiplier interactive movies on YouTube. They're pretty good.
Sure. Yeah.
The Markiplier in space one was fantastic. All right. In other news, let's talk a little bit about the Switch 2.
A lot of leaks, huh?
Yeah, a lot of leaks have come out about the Switch 2, which I think Nintendo needs to take a look at, maybe their internal teams, because if they're going to be suing people for information on these leaks, maybe there should just be less of them.
Sure.
Because I don't want to go full on conspiracy and say that they're intentionally leaking information. That way people will do things with the leaked information. That way they can sue them.
Yep. And I would like to point out, too, that some of this leaked information is not just leaked information. It's leaked hardware.
Yeah.
A whole ass motherboard from the Switch 2.
Yep. And there are a lot of people who are disappointed with the specs.
Yeah. And I'm glad that this article on comicbook.com is apparently writing to me. And because, I may be in the IT industry, but I really prefer you just lay it out. Don't make me compare between this and that. They're basically saying that the piece that they got is saying that it's, at least in portable mode, is closer to a PS4 than anything. Which, honestly,
I don't know why so many people are disappointed. That's exactly where I expected it to be, was about the power of a PS4.
I don't want to pay all that money for a PS4.
No, that's fair. That's fair. In my mind, and this could just be my justification, as I've already pre-ordered the damn thing. And my mind could just be like trying to justify my purchase.
Sure.
But Nintendo has always done a lot with underpowered hardware. So if Nintendo is charging you for the power of a PS4, you're not getting a PS4, because Nintendo's going to do more with it than Sony was ever able to do with it. That, and it's portable, and I'll get the exclusive titles that I want out of Nintendo. And so, that's honestly, with where the original Switch was, and its power being a lower end PS3, because PS3 came out with several different models, and I would say its power was around the lower end PS3. I expected the follow-up to be at about a PS4 level, honestly. And PS4, even without what Nintendo knows how to do with hardware, did some impressive stuff. And if it can do the same thing a PS4 can do, but portably, I personally think that's pretty good. But I also see why maybe myself and others would not want to spend the amount of money on it that they're spending.
Right.
Because one of the reasons it was justifiable for a Switch to be as powerful as PS3 was its price point.
Right.
And this is going to be, of course, a whole lot closer to a current gen console in price.
So, now I will say, when it's docked up, it's going to do better. But
yeah, of course,
there's that portability issue.
Now, me personally, I usually play my Switch in docked mode anyway.
Same. I'm definitely probably complaining for nothing, but still.
None of this is official information. I mean, for all we know, all these leaks could be bunk. They could have got their hands on a prototype, and the full stuff is going to be more powerful for all we know.
Or it could be exactly what they're saying it is.
It could. It honestly could. And they're also saying here that it's, as someone who's not super in to tech and as far as the specs of things go, it's saying here in this article from comicbook.com that for a lot of the games that the Nintendo Switch 2 wants to run, it most likely won't be an issue. The power that it has is going to be enough. But I guess we'll have to see. I mean, it's the exact same advice I gave when we talked about the Nintendo Direct and everything that was coming out of Nintendo Switch. If what you're looking for is a high-end gaming console that's going to play the graphically intense AAA games, don't get a Switch 2. Just don't do it. It's not what it's meant for. It's just like all the people who complained about Cyberpunk not running on their PS4. It's look, they made it available for the PS4, but maybe just don't get it for the PS4. It sucks that they released it for the PS4 and it doesn't work like it should. Your complaints are valid, but maybe just don't get it on the PS4. And, if that's what you're looking for at a gaming console, maybe just don't get the Switch 2. Or maybe have your Switch 2 to play the games that are meant to run on a Switch 2, and then have your PC or your PlayStation 5 or whatever. And if you can only afford one, hey, I get it. And like I said, your complaints are valid. But the machine's going to do what it does. And, you know, raising your torches and pitchforks about it is not going to change the machine.
Yeah, you honestly, it's we would want to talk about valid forms of protest and everything like that. In this case, it's 100% just put your money elsewhere.
Yep.
And when they don't do well, when Nintendo finally takes a shot to the nuts, maybe they'll change up what they're doing. But they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
If everybody's complaining and just, you know, saying this, saying that, even online, but people are still buying everything, what's their risk? There's no risk.
Also, to all the people out there who are complaining about the Switch 2, at the risk of sounding continually like Nintendo's little bitch, stop making...
Did you get your check this month, by the way?
God, I wish Nintendo fucking paid me.
Oh my God, right? I mean, yeah. Look, I'll be straight up. If Nintendo paid me, I'd be their little shill. I don't fucking care. But I'm not selling out. I'm buying in.
The real problem is all the people making straw men of themselves, of their arguments against the Switch 2. It's like, do your research. Don't just repeat what you've heard 100 other people say on the internet. They're talking about the card keys and about how no Nintendo Switch games will be physical and everything is just going to be a key for you to download the game. Not true. There are a couple games that will be like that, that have been announced. However, there were a couple games like that on the Switch 1. Hell, there were a couple games like that on the PS4 and PS5.
Yeah, Xbox is all digital now? Or are they still doing physical games too?
Yeah, they saw physical games. Everybody's trying to lean more digital. Everybody's trying to encourage you towards digital. But physical games exist, you know?
As far as I know, they all started trying to go that way when PlayStation did the old juke on Xbox. Let them go first when they presented and watch them crash and burn and be like, no, we're still doing physical games.
Right, exactly that. Yeah, and then Xbox had to backpedal real fucking hard.
Yep.
So that's part number one. Part number two, everybody's saying that all physical games are going to be 90 and all digital games are going to be 80. Once
Jesus
again,
Christ.
Not true.
Right, yeah. It's even me who have openly complained about the price of the games know that that's not true.
Yeah, they said that about a game.
Yeah.
They've already come out and confirmed that most games will be the same price, whether it's physical or digital. And quite a few will still be at a $60 to $70 price point, which is normal.
Yeah, that is the definite normal right now.
They've also said that, like, in the new terms of service, and, like, this is true, but I think people are making a bigger deal out of it than it is. They've said in the new terms of service that, like, if you are found modding your console, Nintendo reserves the right to basically brick your console if it's found to be modded.
God damn.
How many of you are modding your Nintendo Switches out there, by the way, to where, like, this needs to be a massive fucking panic?
Yeah. I don't think that... I can guarantee you there's a chunk of people out there, but I don't think it's enough people... I don't think it's even enough people for Nintendo to put forth the effort into bricking shit.
Yeah, I also think... I don't think Nintendo's going to be checking. I think it's mostly, like, an empty threat. And even if it isn't an empty threat, even if they are checking, I think most of the people who would be modding their consoles are smart enough to make it undetectable.
And I will say, in response to that, with all due respect, they have done worse for less.
Yes, that is true. That is true. They've also said in the new terms of service, and I don't like this, that because basically, in order to use their consoles, you have to agree to their terms of service. Like, there's no way around it. That you are waiving all your right to, like, basically do any kind of trial or suing. Everything has to go to arbitration.
Holy shit.
But that also seems like a standard at this point in any industry.
You're right.
Like, to call Nintendo out for it specifically, once again, at the risk of sounding like Nintendo's little bitch, it seems like a lot to call Nintendo out for it specifically because you're mad about the price of the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, most companies are putting that into their terms of service nowadays. And actually, I shouldn't even say nowadays. For like the past 10 years, it's been a pretty standard process that it's like, oh, well, if you want to sue us, it has to go to arbitration.
And that's also like pretty much any place that you walk into.
Yeah.
Like amusement parks, anything like that.
Which, once again, don't get me wrong, I think it's shitty that they do that. And I do think they should be called out for it. But like when you're listing the list of reasons that you're not going to buy the Switch 2, it's like, okay, well, good luck buying any kind of game console because like...
Right. Now, unless you're complaining about that with everybody, then all power to you. I don't think it's right.
Yes, agreed. But let's not act like Nintendo invented this shit and like they're special for doing it.
Right.
And on top of all that, like if those are your complaints, that's good. But like to go back to the previous complaints, you turn yourself into a straw man when you don't research these things and people hear your complaints and half the complaints aren't even real things that are happening. Where like you're making the game key complaint and like the all digital complaint and the what was the other one? I just said it. The game price complaint where like they're all going to be $90 physical and $80 digital. Like these things aren't true. These were things that were rumored from a bunch of leaks and like information that was extrapolated from like one or two things Nintendo said or did. It does not apply to everything. Like, and just don't turn yourself into someone who like when you make those arguments, it makes all your other arguments seem weaker because they go, how can we believe all the arguments you're making when half of them are bullshit? Mm-hmm. So just, do your research before making your complaints. And when I say research, you don't even have to be like a journalist. Like take 2 seconds and Google some shit. I don't know. That was my I'm Nintendo's little bitch rant. And
yeah, no, I get it. Sure. I let you go. You're doing your thing. It's all right.
Maybe
we all. Yeah.
Maybe don't complain about how you're not going to buy a console for a bunch of reasons that aren't even real. Like if you're not going to buy it, fine. Look, if you're
sorry, go ahead.
If you're poor, just say so.
I'm poor.
I get it.
I've said this countless times.
Yeah, which is, I'm not complaining at you. I just want to be very clear. You've made your reasons for not buying the Switch 2 very clear, and it's like, yep, great reason for not buying the Switch 2. Oh, man.
Oh, shit.
But when you're like, I'm not buying the Switch 2 because it'd be a crap console that you have to always be online for because it only has digital games. And if you aren't online, you can't even play the games that you downloaded because you have to verify the key. It's like, that's just wrong. It's just not true.
These are not right things. I'm not getting the Switch 2 because they said that they would take my firstborn. Oh,
well, you can't support that.
I read that online. I read that online.
I'm gonna have to cancel my pre-order now. I'm not enough of Nintendo's little bitch to give up my firstborn.
Damn.
Shit.
Damn.
I don't know, man. Just like, a lot of this information, just like the information we just told you about, like the motherboard and the CPU, GPU, whatever. A lot of it's coming from leaks. Just, maybe wait for official information before you go running your mouth off on the internet.
Right, yeah, which I think is just a problem in general.
Yeah, that's true.
People are running their fucking mouths about the Superman movie that's coming out.
Oh, yeah,
and it's like, what have you, past clearly unfinished trailer footage, what have you seen? It's like, and if what you saw is pissing you off, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, there's that on top of it.
And yeah, and then another good one is I got to watch Thunderbolts. I know you got to watch Thunderbolts.
Oh yeah, it was so good too.
Right, and it's like everybody was bitching about it, and they're talking about it being the Marvel Suicide Squad, which it wasn't.
No, it was not.
I don't even think it was close.
Suicide Squad fucking wishes.
Yeah, and I liked Suicide Squad too.
2.
I want to be very specific about that.
Yes, the original DCU Suicide Squad wishes it was Thunderbolts.
Yes, I will stick to that. But I loved it. I thought it was great. And everybody complaining, I'm going to give you the spoilers, possible spoilers. If you don't want this, 3-week-old movie to be spoiled for you.
Look, don't even say possible spoilers. Marvel spoiled it 3 days after the fucking movie came out. Just
you're right.
Spoilers ahead for Thunderbolts.
Right. So everybody complaining about, the problem was fixed with a hug. It's like, and?
It's better than a fucking Skybeam, like every other fucking movie.
That and it's like, the whole movie was just centered around, trauma and getting past that shit. And it's like, are you just, you yourself, so traumatized that you can't see past it to be able to see that? Because if so, I get it.
The entire point was you can't punch your trauma to death. Literally.
Yes.
Like, exactly. It's not going to work.
Look, I get it, Kyle. When you got your monster charging through you, you got big feelings and you got to show that drywall. I get it. But, maybe, and hear me out, talk to a therapist.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe if somebody just gave you a fucking hug.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh no, but he probably won't because that's gay.
Yeah, it's gay when the very attractive Russian woman gives you a hug. That shit's gay as fuck.
Yeah, it's super gay when, the big, Russian bearded dude gives you a hug. Okay, it might be a little gay, but I will say that it does have its flaws, I think, obviously. I don't want to, sound like I am singing its praises without a critical eye.
Yeah, it's not a perfect movie or anything. I do think it is the best Marvel movie of this phase. Personally.
That's not even a question for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that it ranks up there for sure. Yeah. Like, not even in just this phase. I may put it in my top 10.
Yeah, I think top 10 is an easy call. Like, if you had said like
I'm
top
counting
5,
TV shows.
If you had said like top 5, then I'd have been like, ooh, I don't know. But top 10, I think it can make top 10.
Yeah, and I'm counting, like I said, I'm counting TV shows too.
Sure.
But my biggest gripe was, so we have John Walker in there, right? And he gets a bit of a redemption arc. Cool. They should all get redemption arcs. It's kind of the point of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Except for one person didn't get a redemption arc. They got shot in the face.
In like the first 20 minutes.
After one spoken line.
Yeah, I did not like that. I did not enjoy that.
No. The one person I think that deserved the fucking redemption arc the most.
I was honestly expecting her to get shot in the head, and then 10, 15 minutes later, she comes back because it turns out she had some sort of bulletproof shit in her mask.
Or maybe they recovered her body, but they could still do this, I guess. I guess we saw a body, but did we see a body? Anyways. But, they could do it, and they're like, oh, well, she got shot in the head, so now she's got this memory loss, like Taskmaster.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think that they just listen to all these fanboys online, and they're like, well, I guess the best thing to do would be to kill her. It's like, no!
No, I think if we do see Taskmaster again in the MCU, it will be one pulled from a different timeline.
It'll be a different
universe.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yep. And it's like, again, of like all the people in that deserved the arc the most, it would have been her. Because Ghost technically already had her arc.
Right.
She, as far as I was concerned, was never really a bad guy.
No.
I mean, she was trying to survive. Sure. Got it. That's all I needed to know. She is not a bad guy. She is trying to live. Sure. Yelena, as far as I'm concerned, already has redeemed herself. John Walker does not deserve a redemption arc as much as Taskmaster.
Definitely not. Like you said, it's good that he got one. I made some points when we talked about John Walker when we were talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier that kind of made me sound a little bit like a bootlicker, I guess. But like, as being someone who's lived through military trauma and like been the guy who's been expected to follow orders and things like that. Like, there were parts of John Walker's story that I could identify with his trauma from. And I could identify with him a little bit, and like he did get kind of a shitty end of the stick. That does not mean I agree with the choices he made from that point forward. I want to be clear. But to see him kind of come to grips with that a bit, you know, there is a little bit of catharsis in that, you know?
Sure.
But yes, I do believe Taskmaster deserved it way more than he did. And Yelena's redemption at this point, she had already technically redeemed herself in everyone's eyes except her own.
Sure.
And that was the point of her redemption arc in the story, is like, you know, in her own eyes, you know, moving on from what she needed to move on from.
Right. And which, you know, I could completely relate to. And then I'll say that how I relate to like John Walker didn't come until like this movie. And that part really hit me really hard. Just seeing that part. Like to the point where it's kind of hard to watch, but
no, I get it. Yeah.
But it just made the character, I think, more relatable for a lot of people. But, you know, then he turns around and he turns back into John Walker and is like, well, at least I never did that, I guess.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the man still is an asshole, and like he hasn't overcome that part of himself. Right. Even at the end of this movie, he's still...
Even at the end, yep.
He's still an asshole.
Yep. He looks cute in a beret, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that was a good costume choice.
Yes. Not that I hated. I thought it was a pretty cool helmet, but
yeah.
The beret was, I think, a good.
Beret
it sets him apart. It's like that little change made him his own character a little more.
Yeah, it being a nod to his Army Ranger background, and yeah, like that's
weird that he's still using that shield though.
Yeah, especially with a year later, with it being as fucked up as it is.
Like, bro, you couldn't have talked someone into getting you a new shield. They got adamantium now, man. Did you know that? They got adamantium now.
You couldn't, or like even fixing that one. Like, you couldn't have like bent that shit back.
I'm pretty sure Bob could be Sentry just for 5 seconds just to bend it back.
Yeah. Oh man, there's got to be some sort of Stark tech laying around that could fix that fucking shield.
Something.
Gotta be
something. You'd imagine.
Oh man, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, Thunderbolts is definitely worth seeing. Much more than some of the other products that have come out of Marvel this phase. Much more worth your time than say Quantum Mania.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's go ahead. You know what? I'm not done with this movie though.
Okay.
So, end credit scene.
Yeah.
End credit scene.
Yeah.
That's where we got to see everybody's new costumes, which, by the way, fire. Guarantee you those are all the those costumes are wearing are going to be the ones that they're wearing in Doomsday.
Sure.
Because I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they were on the Avengers Doomsday set for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to see them evaluate an interdimensional threat, which turned out to be a Fantastic Four rocket.
Correct.
So yeah, that's exciting. However, and I will mention them because, you know, I like to get my news. I like to be able to have stuff to talk about on here, even though I don't necessarily like them anymore.
Sure.
Because you want to talk about, you know, we talk about being shills and stuff like that and bootlickers. Then you have like new rock stars, and boy, if they're not getting paid by Disney, I don't know. Anyways, but apparently the question that people have been having, not just them, but they brought it up. So I'm going to give them credit where credit's due. Is that actually the Fantastic Four in that rocket?
Hey, good question.
Right?
Good question.
At first,
until you asked, I had just accepted that is the Fantastic Four coming over from the other dimension.
Right.
Where their movie takes place. They're hopping over into what's the movie universe considered 1999? I
don't know.
I believe that
you're talking about which one, the Fantastic Four universe?
No, the MCU universe.
Oh no. I hate to say it, but it's 616.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
Yeah, it is very dumb because they were asking, and that 199999 was like in a book somewhere, right? And they asked Kevin Feige, what once all this stuff started, it was, what Earth is this? And he was like, it's the 616. And it's like, is it though? Is it like even Amon Vellani, which she is Miss Marvel. Even Amon Vellani is like, it's not the 616. I don't care what Kevin Feige says. Haven't seen her in a movie since, so probably maybe change your number. But
there are 2 times I know of where 199 it's 5 nines. Okay, I'm not going to try this.
Yeah, right.
There are 2 times
so
where
it's 159.
Jesus Christ. There are 2 times where it's referenced. And the first time it's like, okay, like that's obviously fake. Where Mysterio says it. Right. And it's like he's not an interdimensional traveler, he's just pulling shit out of his ass. If that number's fake, I get it. The other one's a little disappointing, but it is still Sony where they say it. And that's where Miguel says it in Through the Spider-Verse, where like he's talking about other anomalies, and he's talking about don't get me started on the Spider-Man and Doctor Strange from Earth 199999.
Right.
And it sounds like he's referencing
he is 100%.
What happened in No Way Home.
Yep.
But that apparently didn't happen on Earth 199999. It happened on 616. So like it's kind of disappointing, but like also like I guess that's Sony, and like Disney doesn't have to sync up with Sony and give them all the right references.
I feel like that was Sony taking a pot shot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
I think they were totally taking a shot at them. Which they deserve it. They deserve to get that shot taken at them.
Absolutely. But anyway, you were saying about it not being the Fantastic Four in that ship.
Right, yeah. Like the idea is that it could be the Fantastic Four. That is the leading theory. It seems to be, obvious. But there's a lot of people thinking that it could be Franklin Richards. And he's just in there with Herbie by himself. Some people are thinking that it could be Doctor Doom coming over. I think I even saw someone say that the X-Men could be in there with the Fantastic Four as well. Because I guess they're insinuating that the X-Men are from that universe, which doesn't make sense to me because it's even completely different timelines.
Yeah.
But
if it's from another universe, like they can have whatever timeline they want for that universe since it's different.
Right. So I think that it is 100%. It's 100% the Fantastic Four. There's no doubt in my mind. But it's just
someone
interesting
else
to think about.
It's an interesting thought experiment. It being someone else, especially I like it being Franklin Richards a whole lot more than I like it being Doctor Doom or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know we're getting close to time, but since you brought up that, I've seen a couple other people speculate about something else from that end credit scene, and I would like to get your take. Who do you think is on the other Avengers team?
Definitely Sam Wilson.
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously he's suing. But,
I guess I should say, who do you think is on Sam Wilson's Avengers team?
Sure. Sam Wilson's Avengers team, I believe, is going to have Ant-Man on it. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be where Doctor Strange is going to show up again. Obviously, I think Spider-Man.
So just.
No, wait, no, not Spider-Man. Well, maybe Spider-Man.
Just a question.
They just don't know who he is.
Just to question some of your choices here, one by one. Doctor Strange, do you think he would be willing to actually join the Avengers and not just continue being like kind of his own thing with the sorcerers and Camartage and all that?
I could see both, but I just really think that the best way for them to write him in is going to be slapping him into the Avengers.
Okay.
For the same reasoning with Spider-Man, because nobody knows who he is technically. But I can totally see them just writing him into the Avengers because that's just what makes it easy.
Assuming they can make nice with Sony for it.
Sure. I think that Miss Marvel's going to be there. I think that Miss Marvel is going to have a confrontation with Bob.
Okay.
I think that we will see the Hulk. I don't think that we're going to see She-Hulk.
Okay. Well, like, just because
well, you know
see
what?
someone...
No, wait, hold on. Let me back it up.
Okay.
Let me back it up. I don't exactly remember the wording that happened in that, but I'm going to change my theory unless I heard it wrong. I don't think there is an Avengers team.
So, you think that Sam Wilson is just suing them for the name without a team?
Because I think that he believes that they're disrespecting the name.
Okay.
And he probably wants to get his own started. But yeah, I don't think... I'm betting that there isn't an Avengers team.
Okay.
And I only say that because of you pointing out those things about those people. Everybody that could be in the Avengers are doing their own fucking thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they're out doing whatever.
I personally think there are enough people that Sam Wilson could put together for an Avengers team.
Probably, yeah. I just don't think that it will be done by then.
I do think that there are still going to be other heroes that are willing to work with the Avengers, but not part of the Avengers, just like Doctor Strange was originally, for example. Like, he worked with Avengers in, like, Endgame, and but he wasn't an Avenger, right?
Right.
And then you had characters like War Machine, who, like, would work with Tony a lot, but, like, he wasn't an Avenger. So I think you're going to have, like, Torres, for example, will not be an Avenger. I think he's going to be like Sam Wilson's War Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shuri will be an Avenger. I think Ironheart will be an Avenger. I don't think he will be, but I really want him to be. I think Shang-Chi should be an Avenger. And just because I think it should be a team of 6, that puts me at 4. I think Hulk will come back, and I think Thor will come back. And I think that's going to be the team of 6.
Okay.
If not,
those
maybe...
aren't bad choices, honestly.
And I honestly believe, I do honestly believe, as much as I want it to be Shang-Chi, I believe that's going to be swapped out with Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man will be the one who actually makes the cut. And I believe the other heroes will still all be there. They'll just be, like, not Avengers. They'll be working with the Avengers.
I will add a wild card to your list, though.
Okay.
Madison.
Okay, refresh my memory here.
Madison, spelled with a Y, but not where you think.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. If you had not given me the spelling, I'd have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, with all that being said, email us at cashfishguild@gmail.com. Let us know who you think Sam Wilson's Avengers team is going to be. Join us on the Discord. That's where all the fun stuff is happening. And we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye. 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 See ya. Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.